The galaxy was vast, silent, and eternal. For centuries, the Galactic Empire had ruled over its countless star systems with an iron grip, its fleets patrolling the endless void to ensure order, compliance, and absolute dominance. The Empire was the pinnacle of civilization, or so it believed, a beacon of control in the chaos of space. But even the most powerful regimes can harbor a shadow of fear, a faint, gnawing question about what might exist beyond their reach. This was no ordinary night in the Empire's capital. The air buzzed with an unshakable tension. High Command's meeting chamber, usually a place of calm deliberation, had erupted into chaos. Admirals and counselors shouted over one another, faces pale under the cold glow of holographic projections. At the center of the room floated an image of something that shouldn't exist, an unidentified fleet. "Run the scans again," barked Admiral Cale Vaughn, his voice cutting through the din. His scared face was a testament to decades of hard-fought battles, but even he couldn't hide the tremor in his tone. "This has to be some kind of trick." "This is no trick, Admiral," replied Commander Elia Trent, her voice steady but her hands trembling at her sides. She was younger, sharper, and dangerously intelligent, qualities that often earned her as much envy as respect among the Empire's elite. "The scans confirm it. The ships don't match any known designs within the galaxy. They're alien." "Alien?" scoffed another voice, this one belonging to the grizzled General Lyric Donner. "Impossible. We've charted every corner of known space. Nothing moves without us knowing. If they were aliens, we'd have found them by now." "It's not just their origin that's the problem," Trent continued, gesturing at the hologram. "It's their technology. Their power output is staggering. Our analysts say these ships could take on an entire Imperial battle group and win without sustaining damage." A heavy silence fell over the room. It wasn't just the potential threat that chilled them, it was the unknown. The Galactic Empire had always prided itself on knowing everything, on being in control. But now something had slipped through the cracks, something powerful, something they didn't understand. High Chancellor Orin Drax, the stoic leader of the Empire, finally spoke, his voice a low growl that commanded absolute attention. "Who are they? What do they want?" Elia hesitated, her gaze fixed on the hologram. "We intercepted a faint transmission. It was brief, almost indecipherable. But one thing was clear." She paused, and the room seemed to hold its breath. "They're human." The word hung in the air like a specter. Humanity was a relic of myth, a species believed to have vanished eons ago during the dark age of galactic expansion. The Empire's historians had long dismissed their existence as little more than a footnote in the annals of ancient history. But now, this fleet, a fleet unlike anything they'd ever seen, was here, challenging everything they thought they knew. "They can't be human," Donar said, his voice cracking with disbelief. "Humans died out centuries ago. There were no survivors. We made sure of it." Admiral Vaughn's gaze snapped toward him. "What are you saying, General?" Donar shifted uncomfortably. "During the Empire's early days, there were measures, policies to secure our dominance. Any species that could pose a threat, well, they were eliminated." A murmur rippled through the room. Vaughn's expression darkened. "Aren't you admitting we tried to wipe them out?" "Not tried. We succeeded," Donar said grimly, "or so we thought." Before anyone could respond, the chamber's lights dimmed and a sharp, pulsing alarm echoed through the walls. A new hologram appeared, this one displaying a live feed from the Empire's outermost border. A fleet of sleek, ominous ships loomed against the black backdrop of space. Their hulls shimmered with an unnatural energy, and their formations moved with precision that sent chills down every spine. "They've breached the perimeter," a voice crackled over the comms. "We're outnumbered and outgunned, requesting immediate reinforcements." The room erupted into action. Commands were shouted, orders relayed, and battle strategies hastily formed. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. This was no ordinary enemy. This was something far greater, far deadlier. Elia watched the scene unfold, her mind racing. "We need to know their intentions. If they're truly human, they might have a reason for coming back now." "Reason or not," Vaughn growled, "they've declared war by entering our space uninvited." As the fleet advanced, the screen flickered, and a new transmission cut through the chaos. A face appeared, a face unmistakably human. The figure was cloaked in shadow, their eyes burning with a fierce intensity that sent a shiver down Elia's spine. "This is the voice of humanity," the figure said, their words echoing with a strange, almost haunting resonance. "You tried to erase us, you failed, and now we have returned." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. The hologram of the fleet remained, inching closer to Imperial territory. "What are your orders, Chancellor?" Vaughn asked, his voice strained. Chancellor Drax's jaw tightened as he stared at the display. "Send the fleet. Show them the might of the Galactic Empire." Elia hesitated, then spoke up. "And if they're stronger than us, then we'll make sure they regret ever being born," Drax snapped. As the Empire's ships mobilized, the mysterious fleet remained eerily still, as if waiting for the confrontation. In the quiet moments before the inevitable clash, one thought lingered in Elia's mind, a question she dared not voice. What if this wasn't just a battle for dominance? What if this was a reckoning? The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as two colossal forces prepared to collide, and somewhere in the silence of space, a forgotten chapter of history was about to be rewritten. As the Imperial fleet roared to life, the stars outside the capital's windows became streaks of light, distorted by the warp drives of countless warships moving to intercept the unknown threat. Admiral Cal Vaughn stood on the bridge of the Erebus Asterisk, the flagship of the Empire's armada, watching the tactical display with grim focus. Around him, officers worked feverishly at their stations, their faces illuminated by the cold blue glow of monitors. The air was thick with tension, the kind that only came before an encounter with the unknown. Ilia Trent stood by his side, her mind racing. The revelation that the mysterious fleet was human, or at least claimed to be, had opened a floodgate of questions she couldn't shake. Where had they been all this time? How had they developed such advanced technology? And why now? What had driven them to return and challenge the Empire? "Admiral," she said quietly, breaking the silence. "There's something we're missing, something bigger than just this fleet showing up." Vaughn didn't look at her, his gaze fixed on the holographic projection of the approaching armada. "Speculate all you want, Commander, but right now, my job is to stop them before they reach our core systems." "But what if that's exactly what they want?" Elia pressed. "A direct engagement. We don't know their capabilities, their numbers, or their intentions. Charging in blind could be disastrous." Vaughn finally turned to her, his expression hard. "And what do you suggest?" "Diplomacy. Negotiation. These humans sent a message that was nothing short of a declaration of war. We show weakness now, and they'll tear through us like we're nothing." Ilia wanted to argue, but she knew it would be futile. Vaughn was a soldier through and through, a man who believed in action over words. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap, one carefully set by an enemy who had been watching, waiting, and planning for a very long time. Back at the Empire's capital, Chancellor Oren Drax stood alone in his private chamber, staring at an ancient artifact encased in glass, a relic from humanity's early days. It was a simple thing, a piece of metal etched with symbols long forgotten. To most, it was meaningless, but to Drax, it was a reminder of the Empire's darkest secret. He reached out and touched the glass, his fingers trembling. "So, you survived," he muttered, his voice barely audible. "I should have known. You were always too stubborn to die." The door to his chamber slid open, and General Lyric Dono entered, his face pale but determined. "Chancellor, the fleet is mobilizing. Do you really think this? This threat is what it seems." Drax turned to him, his eyes cold. "What do you think it is, General?" Dono hesitated. "A myth brought to life. A ghost from our past. But myths don't build warships, and ghosts don't send transmissions." "No," Drax agreed. "They don't. Which means they've been hiding, waiting for the right moment to strike, and we gave them that moment. We pushed too far, took too much. Now, they're here to remind us of what we tried to erase." The general shifted uncomfortably. "If they really are human, Chancellor, what does that mean for us?" Drax didn't answer. He didn't need to. The weight of the question hung in the air like a storm cloud, unspoken but undeniable. Meanwhile, on the edge of Imperial space, the confrontation loomed closer. The two fleets were now within range of each other, their ships arranged in intricate formations. The Imperial warships bristled with weapons, their hulls gleaming under the light of distant stars. In contrast, the mysterious fleet was eerily silent, their ships almost organic in design, their energy signatures unlike anything seen before. Still no response to our hails, reported Lieutenant Eric Solon, one of the junior officers aboard the Erebus *. They're not answering. Then we make them answer, Vaughn growled. All ships, prepare to open fire on my command. Elia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. This was it. The moment when everything would change. She watched the tactical display as the Imperial fleet moved into attack positions, their weapons locking onto targets. But before Vaughn could give the order, something unexpected happened. The lead ship of the unknown fleet sent out a pulse, a wave of energy that rippled through space, disabling Imperial sensors and communications for a brief moment. When the systems came back online, the mysterious fleet had moved, their ships now arranged in a new seemingly impenetrable formation. How did they? Solon stammered, frantically working to recalibrate the sensors. They're toying with us, Vaughn snarled. Trying to intimidate us. It's working, Elia murmured under her breath. Then, without warning, a single ship from the mysterious fleet broke away from the formation and moved toward the Erebus *. It was smaller than the others, almost sleek in design, but its energy readings were off the charts. They're approaching, Solon reported, his voice tight with fear. One ship, no weapons active. Destroy it, Vaughn ordered. Wait, Elia interjected, stepping forward. They're not attacking. We need to see what they want. And give them the advantage? I don't think so, Vaughn shot back. But before the Admiral could enforce his command, a transmission came through, a direct, unencrypted signal. The face of the same shadowed figure appeared on the screen, their eyes piercing and unyielding. Imperial flagship Erebus *, the figure said, their voice calm but firm. You've entered our domain. Stand down and turn back, or face the consequences. This is Admiral Cal Vaughn of the Galactic Empire, Vaughn replied, his voice like steel. You don't give us orders. Surrender now, or we'll annihilate you. The figure didn't flinch. You've forgotten who we are, but you'll remember soon enough. The transmission ended, and the lone ship turned back toward its fleet. For a moment there was silence, an unbearable stillness that pressed down on everyone aboard the Erebus *. Admiral, they're moving into attack formation, Solon reported. They're preparing to fire. Vaughn's jaw tightened. All ships, open. But before the order could be completed, the mysterious fleet unleashed a coordinated barrage of energy unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. The void of space lit up with an intensity that made it look as if the stars themselves were erupting. Imperial shields buckled under the assault, and several ships were destroyed in an instant. Elia gripped the edge of the console as the Erebus * shook violently. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the bridge descended into chaos. Admiral, we can't hold this position, shouted Solon, panic creeping into his voice. Vaughn clenched his fists, his face a mask of fury. Fall back. Regroup at the secondary line. As the Imperial fleet began to retreat, the mysterious fleet didn't pursue. They held their position, watching, waiting. It was as if they were sending a message. We are stronger, faster, and more prepared than you could ever imagine. Elia stared at the tactical display, her mind racing. This wasn't just a battle, it was the beginning of something much larger, much darker. And for the first time in her life, she felt the cold sting of doubt. What if the Empire couldn't win this war? What if humanity's greatest nightmare had finally come to pass?